live with Faz Radio Green Room. Even though the logo isn't green, it's black, but still, this is our green room. Welcome.
I can't. Let's see. Let's do that. Whoops.
There you go. You got it.
How do you make it behind?
The picture needs to be bigger. Actually, that's the problem.
Yeah, that's the story of your life. It needs to be bigger.
Mm-hmm. It's okay. These are important things for you to worry about.
Oh, technology. You push the button. Oh, well, overlay should have been the first key word there. I should have been looking for background instead of overlay. There we go. Ah!
Don't worry.
I was using the wrong one the whole time.
By the time I get my computer set back up, then you'll know it and you won't have to do it anymore.
So why don't you have your computer set up? What is the holdup? You've been there for like 3 years now.
Stuff and things has a lot to do with, yes, my life has settled down. I have moved, but now I'm having to catch up with everything that I had shoved aside when I had moved, and add to that, just family and life. That's the best way to put it.
So Faz Radio takes backseat to all that? Is that what you're trying to tell us?
Faz Radio pays so much money right now that, I mean, it's always front seat.
You've got to create epic, awesome content in order to do that. And to create epic, awesome content, you need your computer.
Well, we're getting there.
Cart horse. See, cart horse.
We're getting there. How's your computer doing?
It's doing fantastic. I haven't had any problems since I got this thing.
How's your epic content going?
It's going okay. I mean, not great. But I got a lot. I've got most of the websites. I have 14 websites to migrate to the new host, and I've got 8 of them migrated at this point.
That's a lot of work.
I'm still waiting on some of my clients to move their name server over, though.
So you said you were telling me shortly before this show something about using AI for making websites?
Yeah, so I don't want to do a commercial here, but when I've been doing websites since Front Page, all right? And Front Page was, what, 90s, would you say? I was never good enough to do it professionally, but I would help my friends who knew way less than me. And I built a bunch of my own, and now looking back, they look like complete ass, of course, but I've gotten better over the years. And I ended up with some paying clients last year, and they're very happy with what I've built for them. I had been using the same provider since quite literally like 2001, 2002. And lately, it's not gone well. I caught a nasty WordPress virus, and it's likely
Have you been sticking your WordPress where it shouldn't be going?
No, so I fell for an old trick. After all these years, I've been spouting off about how every idiot out there does it to themselves by clicking something they shouldn't click. Guess what I finally did after all these years? I clicked something I shouldn't have clicked. So inside the WordPress dashboard where you build the site, at the top there's this banner, and it gives you things that you should update, right? And it all comes directly into WordPress, plugins and so forth. Well, I use a dashboard manager to manage all of these websites, and it's highly secure. It uses a tokenized system of login, so there's no passwords. Well, it pulls directly from these dashboards into that dashboard manager, and then you click on there, and you can like update all the plugins for all the sites with one click instead of going to every website. It's fantastic, right? So I trusted that, and in there it said that WordPress 6.2.2 core update was ready. And I said, Oh, I didn't, so I Google it, and sure enough, it says, WordPress 6.2.2 is just about ready for release and yada, yada, yada. And I said, oh, cool. My web host got it early for me. So I said, update. And as soon as the update finished, my websites crashed. And I said, shit, it's too early. Nothing's compatible. The plugins don't work with it yet because it's early. I shouldn't have done that. Well, I keep looking, and it's saying WordPress 6.2.2 hasn't been released to anybody yet, and I'm starting to panic. So I called the web host and said, hey, I borked this, and they said, oh, it looks like you updated to 6.2.2. Where'd you get that from? And I'm like, there's my problem. So they reverted me back to 6.1.8 or whatever it was. And I thought the problem was solved. Well, I started noticing, because from yet that same dashboard, you can click a button and see for all the websites you manage, you can see the users and what their roles are and all that. And I see all of these weird users, WP admin 23 ampersand -19, active on 4 websites. And I'm like, oh, admin? Yeah, that's not good. So I get an email. Actually, my wife got the email from one of my customers who said, you need to go look at my site right now. And I went there, and it immediately redirected to a Russian porn site. So I said, that's enough WordPress, and I moved to Hostinger. And at Hostinger, my very long-winded story, at any rate, they have a web builder that isn't WordPress. It's their own proprietary drag and drop. This thing is freaking amazing. And on that, they integrate AI directly in to the website. So I was telling Faz before we got started here, the SEO process is fantastic. There's an SEO section. You click on it. It takes you page by page. You give a description, a couple sentences, what it is, what it's about, and you click OK. It rewrites all the text, optimized with the latest Google algorithm. It walks you through your H1 header. You have an H2 header by mistake. Let's go ahead and replace that, and let's move it here for optimization and blah, blah, blah. I mean, just blew me away. But this thing basically walked me through what a professional SEO person could do. And I noticed, because after I did that, I went back to check, and I got 5x on unique visitors to the website in the 2 days after I did that. So to me, that says it works pretty good, unless they're sending me bullshit numbers, but you never know. But
so your goal in that case is to just get more people. I have a feeling it just threw a bunch of meta tags on there and called it good.
You know what? I don't know. It does it for you. So I don't, it doesn't, you can't get to the raw data in this builder. It's literally brand new. It came out like 2 months ago. And they're constantly releasing new features for it, but from the get-go, they wanted AI integrated into it. And basically what it does, like you can go, if you do a block of text, you can highlight that text and click the AI button, and it'll rewrite it. So it basically is probably just an API into ChatGPT is my guess. So either way, though, it's really kind of neat. And it made everything that I did like 100 times better. It really did. So
I've been a computer programmer for a while now, and the only problem I have with that is that whole not knowing how it works thing. I get what you're saying about the fact that it can rewrite it. You could say, literally, hopefully you could say, rewrite this exact same website, but without that word in it, and it would be exactly the same.
Yeah, so what's really cool is like I open a separate window when I'm writing a website, and I have ChatGPT open, and I give it the text, and I say, rewrite this using the tone of whatever and whatever, and it'll kick it out. You just say, nope, not good enough. Try again. Use less of this tone and more of that tone. And after 2 or 3 tries, you get something that's absolutely perfect. It's fantastic.
Wow. Why do I get the sense in that about a year after about a year of this, after everybody's really hooked on it, like you're showing yourself to be, that it's going to be subscriptions. You're going to be paying $19.95 a month.
I will gladly pay for it. I really will. Look, another unpaid commercial. I was reluctant to spend $120 for an annual subscription to this service called Canva. And it's basically just like it's like an online Photoshop kind of thing. And I'm like, God, it's a lot of money. I would pay $120 a month for Canva.
Well, Canva actually reminds me more like an online PowerPoint, but just put together cards and simple pictures and
what? No, it's way more than that. It's not simple at all. And you can tell it like YouTube banner, and it'll give you suggestions. And if you do the branding kit, which is part of the Pro subscription, you put your brand colors in there, you put your brand description in there, and it will hone down for you so that there's minimal editing. Everything on there you can use commercially, so you can use it for commercial purposes. If you pull a graphic or a video or anything off of there, it can be used, so you don't have to worry about copyrights. All of those, like that Jesse thumbnail, it took me literally 3 minutes to make that, and it looked fantastic. And you can do that, and it's worth every penny. So if you're looking for another tool that's absolutely worth the money, I fully endorse Canva as well.
So in as early as about a year ago, admitting that you had some sort of AI write your content like that would be akin to you admitting that you either have no creativity or you don't have the ability. Oops.
No, it makes. Do you remember BASF?
Mm-hmm.
Their slogan used to be, "We don't make the products you use. We make the products you use better." And so that's what I use AI for. I'm a very good writer when I write. Better than average. I'm not anywhere near professional. Don't get me wrong, right?
But you're very good.
I do. I like to toot my own horn. We all know that after 2 years of Faz Radio. But I'm better than average, but I'm not professional level. So this takes that better than average and makes it professional for me. And I love it. I'm going to use those tools, absolutely.
So,
and I don't think there's anything wrong with it. If I were to go and tell it to write code to build a video game and then I took credit for it because I'm not a coder, I think that is unethical and wrong.
Wait a minute. Video game publishers do that. Video game publishers pay human beings to do something, like, I don't know, Sid Meier, who did well, no, maybe he didn't. I bet Sid Meier did SimCity probably did it himself. But there's a lot of software developers out there. What's the name of that guy? Never mind. Who employ teams of developers. And then they brand it with their name, and they say, "I've put out a video game." And really, what they're trying to say is they've managed a bunch of people putting out the game, and it was their idea. And of course, they've done some programming too, or whatever. With AI, that seems to me to be the same thing, but you're just not commanding legions of humans; you're commanding legions of AI.
Commanding bots.
So
commander.
So yes, I would say in a very real sense, you could claim that it was you because you came up with the idea and you were able to. I mean, okay, how about this?
It's the same as your bugs.
If you tell somebody else to go murder somebody, whose idea was it? Who gets in trouble? Well, because especially if you employed a lot of people to do it, and of course them if they can get their hands on them, but they're going to come after you because you're dangerous. You're more dangerous.
Well, you do that with your bugs. We did a whole Faz Radio on that, right? You take your drawing and you let the AI enhance it. So are you really an artist, or are you just...
When you say let, so there's a big distinction there. If I know what the AI is going to do, that's different than if I don't know what it's going to do. Also, if I do if I make a drawing, have AI enhance it, and then I mess with it in Photoshop, and then I have AI enhance that, then I mess with it again, then I have AI enhance it. Who did the work? You could say that, and this was a thing about Photoshop when Photoshop came out in the early 90s. You could have Photoshop like insert an image into a picture or make a texture for you or something like that, or you can use a texture to make a special paintbrush. And they were like, you didn't make that. Photoshop did. And it's like, you directed it. So you pretty much made it. If you weren't alive on this planet, it wouldn't have happened. Now, that is different if you were to have AI come up with it 100%.
Right.
Then it's just as good as anyone else do it. I mean, if you gave it no source picture and no direction to go, that's AI that did it then. You might as well have somebody else just do it.
So we're running a little over 15 minutes here, but I want to leave you with something. I didn't want to waste precious time on the actual cast with this. But with your life and things going on, I don't know if you saw this or if you caught this, but there was a very interesting Bitcoin ordinals transaction that took place the other day. Did you see that?
I did not.
Ooh.
Well, my life is I'm in much higher demand than I was before. I think that's a nice way to put it.
You are spiking her drinks. That's all I got to say.
No,
listen.
I wasn't saying that.
Listen,
banned by lots of people in my life.
This ordinals transaction was signed with a private key. That private key hasn't been used since 16 days after the first Bitcoin block was created.
Ooh.
And it's an encrypted message on there. So
well, it's encrypted to begin with, but I guess it's
clear. You can see it, but you don't know what it is.
So
that address has not been used since
that
16 days after the first block. They have one of the very first Bitcoins that was ever mined in their possession.
So I thought the ordinals thing, correct me if I'm wrong, is Bitcoin's way of having NFTs. Is that right?
Correct.
So an NFT really, of course, we all know it's just a certification or it's a notary of pointing to something to say that it's something. An NFT could be as simple as a number that represents something.
Right.
So encryption. So that could very well be an NFT that you need some cryptographic key to unlock the NFT.
Well, the big part is that private key, because it could very well even be Satoshi, him or herself. For all anybody knows, it's from block 16 is what that private key was signing the last time it was
I don't
active.
remember the story of Bitcoin, but didn't Satoshi mine a whole bunch of stuff first, and then he released it to everybody, and they mined stuff?
His first transaction was to Hal Finney, and Hal never sent that transaction back to Satoshi, which led to all kinds of speculation. But the first mining blocks were done by both Hal and by Satoshi. And Jameson Lopp.
Hal is dead.
Yeah, right. So that points more towards that's more evidence, in my opinion, that there was a group of Satoshis rather than a Satoshi. Having keys that early as an OG, that is
why couldn't
really...
it just be that Satoshi might have given private keys to someone else? Because at a certain point he wanted to just get out of it. And perhaps he gave keys to somebody else and they just decided to sit on it and then start playing with things right now.
Yeah, but it was still someone who knew what they were doing 16 days after the first block was created. They had keys and could operate on the blockchain.
I'm saying whoever knew what they were doing and had that private key could have just given that private key to someone else.
That's true too. But it's mind-boggling. It blew some minds. And if you want to go down a rabbit hole on a late night when you can't go to sleep, Jameson Lopp is a huge Bitcoiner. He's been around for the long haul. He's very knowledgeable. He did a fantastic big long read article on how Satoshi actually limited and restricted him or herself from mining too many of the Bitcoin. And he gives evidence to show how he or she throttled himself.
Well, my understanding is that Satoshi simply just mined a bunch and put it out there, and then just after a while, he stopped mining because it wasn't necessary.
Well, he mined a bunch, and then he throttled himself. And Lop shows how he did that.
Remember, Bitcoin was worth nothing at the time, and it wasn't worth anything for quite a bit of time after that. So it's not like, we keep looking at this with 2020 hindsight going, oh my God, what did he do? He very likely did not think that it would catch on in the way that it has right now and gone up to the value it has. I'm sure that he'd rather it just be one Bitcoin for $1.
The last thing I'll say on this is something you're going to want to go look at. I thought of you instantly when I saw it. Somebody has a Bitcoin ordinals marketplace, if you want to call it that, and it has collectibles. Meaning they have Satoshis that can be traced back to the purchase of the Bitcoin pizza, the famous Bitcoin pizza. You can buy a Satoshi, an ordinal of the Satoshi, from the first Bitcoin pizza transaction. They have a whole list of like famous events that took place with Bitcoin, and you can buy that Satoshi that was part of it.
One of the many Satoshis that was
one of the many. Well, yeah, because it's divisible 16 times, right? So
back the Bitcoin pizza was 10,000 Bitcoin. So there's a bunch.
There's a whole bunch of Satoshis there, right? So they have all kinds of neat things that you can buy there. So you being the rarity guy and the collectibles guy, I thought of you when I saw that. I'm like, oh, he would have a ball over here.
What's the name of that site?
I'll post it in the
chat here.
Not the chat here. The video details. It was a tweet. It was fantastic. I was like, wow, I might even go and pick up something cool like that just to have it. That's kind of neat.
All right, so what are we talking about Faz Radio today? Because we've been talking about those.
Faz Radio today is a Faz chosen topic. We're going to talk two subjects. We're going to talk the week in crypto with Gary Gensler really going after crypto. They're not playing around anymore. Coinbase and Binance US are under the gun, and what's happened this week with the two organizations since that happened. And we're also going to talk about and analyze why in the hell is Europe and every Asian place fast-tracking crypto regulations when the U.S. is working on regulation by enforcement and what that means.
Yeah, I got some thoughts about that.
Yeah, so it sounds boring, guys, but I think this will be a pretty good one.
All right.
And we shouldn't argue too much in this one. We're pretty much on the same page.
I choose my arguments wisely these days.
All right, here we go. We'll see you on the other side.